Hey guys, the other day I got these in the mail. It was probably last week or so. These little MicroFish paracord survival kit things. They each have a foil wrapped survival kit in here, and each of these kits contains everything, supposed to contain everything you need to catch, clean, and cook fish if you're in a survival situation. So, like I said, I got two of them. One of them I'm going to clip on my bag just to have with me, just because I thought it was a cool idea. The other one, I'm going to open it for you tonight. I'm going to show you what's inside of it. And then sometime in the next few weeks, we are going to test them out and see if we can catch, clean, and cook a fish using the items in here and whatever we can find in our survival situation. All right, here we go. So to start with, we're going to take off this carabiner. I don't need it right now. And we'll look for where this is tucked in. There should be a burnt edge right here. Okay, you see how that's kind of burnt? I don't know if you can see that. So right here, you can see where that's kind of burnt on. Right there. So what we're going to do, oh wait, you can't see it, it's kind of burnt tip. Hopefully you can see that. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of pry this up because it's burnt to the there we go. So I'm going to pry up that burnt edge right here. See? And the bad part about, well, the only bad thing about these, because I've made some cobra weave stuff myself. Okay, and this edge is also burnt. So there we go. So we got our two ends. I've made some cobra weave stuff. And the bad part about pulling apart cobra weave is you have to actually pull it apart. There's no quick way to do this. So I'll speed this up, and so it won't take me all night. Okay, now we've got this apart, and what we have is 9 feet of usable paracord. You can use this for if you had a shelter, you need to tie anything up, or the inner cores if you've never used paracord before. You can cut off the end and pull out the outer casing, and you have 7 strands of thin, white, very strong, durable cordage that you could use as a type of as a fishing line, or just to make more cordage if you need it. That should be a fairly strong joint, but I don't know if you were going to use this to support weight. I don't know if I would trust that too well. I would probably try to use it as 2 separate sections, about 4.5 feet long. So you have 9 feet total, but I'd probably use it as 2 4.5 foot sections. So you've got paracord. Next, we have this keyring knife slash scaler. This is what you're supposed to use to scale a fish, which I can see this scaler working very well. It feels like it would work very well. This knife, yeah, this knife is sharp. That's a pretty sharp little knife, it feels like. I'm not going to try to cut anything with it. When we use it, hopefully get a chance to use this in the field, we'll get to see if it cuts, but it'll fit on your finger. Hopefully you can press down enough with it to actually clean a fish with it. For those of you that are a little queasy, I'm about to get in a little detail. When you clean a fish and you cut the head off of it, I don't know if you could get enough force just with this knife by itself to cut through the backbone of a large fish. But I don't think that this kit is going to be catching very large fish anyway. So a smaller fish, it should be fine. Or if you gut the fish and leave the head on, then it should still be fine. I think this should work fine. Any survivalist is going to have a knife with them at all times as well. So this is a last case scenario, but we'll test it out if we get the chance. Now, this is the actual kit in here. We have foil. It's all wrapped in some aluminum foil, which can be used for many different things. But in this case, since this is a fishing kit, what I would say to use this foil for would be in the cooking process. When you have your fish cleaned, you have your fire started, and you need something to lay your fish on. This is not a very big piece of foil, so I don't know if this would be very useful in the cooking process. Maybe there's some other use with fishing that you can think of for this foil. If you think of anything, let me know in the comments. I would think just for cooking, but you can also put the fish on a stick as a skewer and cook it that way. Probably be just as easy. So, but we have foil in case we need it. So we'll put the foil there. So then, in our little Ziploc bag, we have. Oh, and these are individually packaged. That's nice. That's better. If I did this on my own, they would not be probably as nicely wrapped up as this. But this looks like 2 liters with hooks, and they're small hooks, which is good. Because like I said, with this kit, if you're in a survival situation, you want to just catch whatever you can. Your chances of catching a small fish are going to be a lot greater than your chances of catching something big. So having small hooks on here is a good thing. So if you need a longer line, like I said, what you can do is connect it to a strand from your paracord to make your line a little bit longer. But maybe these will be long enough. I don't know. We'll see. Also in here you have I think what this is I'm not entirely sure. I think this is to help with your fire. I think. I'm not entirely 100% sure what this is. I think it may be to help with the fire. Okay, also in here we have a couple of weights, little weights, which is fine. I'm gonna drop one of them, but these are just little weights, little sinkers to put on your line to get your line down to where the fish are. Yeah, there's 2 of those in there. There are 2 swivels, and you can use these if you need to connect your line to some paracord. This would be great for that, because you can tie your paracord to one end of it, and then you can clip this. I know what they say about assuming, but I'm going to assume that these leaders already have a loop tied in them, and you can just clip this to that leader. So you can have this tied to your paracord end, have this tied to your clip to your leader, and then you've got your pole. And then you tie your paracord to a stick or a tree branch, and you've got your fishing rod right there. These are bobbers, but I don't rightly know how useful these are going to be. We'll give them a shot, but I don't know that these are going to keep anything afloat very well, because like I said, they are pretty small. Okay, the other swivel's in here, and then my weight is over there. So, oh yeah, and this ferro rod. So this you use to help start your fire, and that's why I think this may be some sort of actual starter to catch your spark. Usually you can find something around, if you're in the woods or something, you can find some tinder to use as to catch your spark, but it's good to have something, and I think that's what this is. So yeah, I think this is some sort of cotton or something with some petroleum jelly on it. So you would take this, kind of pull it apart, then you would take your rod here and your knife, and you would strike it as hard as you can, get a good spark that would catch on your starter, and you would use that flame to start your fire, and then you would use that fire to cook your fish. So we have our ferro rod to get our spark. We have our starting material to get our fire going. We have our knife to help make our spark and to clean our fish. And then we have all the materials here to use to build, almost all the materials. We'll need a stick of some sort. But between our paracord and our fishing line, hook, swivels, and sinkers, we've got our materials to build a survival fishing rod. Assuming there are fish actually in the area, we can then use this to catch a fish. We can use this to start our fire and clean our fish, and then use our fire to cook our fish. So yeah, that's what's in this little kit. And like I said, this was before, and then all that stuff down here is what's actually in the kit. Without actually using it, I'd say it's got what you need to catch a fish, because typically if you're in a wooded area and you have a stream of some sort, it's going to be wet enough around the stream, you'll probably be able to find something you can use for bait. Some worms, some little insects of some sort that you can use for baits. And there'll be trees around. You can get a good limb to build you a rod. So the chances, I would say the chances of actually being able to catch a fish with this kit are probably going to be pretty decent. Being able to clean a fish, I'm still a little skeptical, just because the cutting tool here is so small. And it's sharp, but it's small. So I'm a little skeptical about being able to clean a fish. And then being able to cook a fish, all you need is a fire. And if you can get a fire started with this fire start device, which, like I said, any true survivalist is going to have a knife on them at all times, and they're going to also have a very reliable way to start a fire. So this is in a last case. Once again, this is a last case scenario. This is the last thing you have to start a fire with. I think your chances of starting a fire with this will be pretty high. So then you could cook the fish with it. So yeah, the only thing I'm questioning is whether or not you can clean a fish with this little knife. So if anybody else, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it in a week or two, as soon as I can find the time and a place to do it. But in the meantime, if anybody else has one of these, has ever used one of these kits, if you've ever cleaned a fish with a little knife like this, let me know. Yeah, tell me about it in the comments below. I'm looking forward to actually trying this thing out though. So be sure and be subscribed to me here on YouTube. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat. And I'll post more about this and more about other stuff too. We got plenty of videos coming out. As you noticed, it was just me this time. My wonderful sidekick, the wife, is not feeling good. Her back's been bothering her, so she's in there sitting on the couch right now. But this is probably not up her alley anyway. That's about it for this one, guys. Till next time.